lean in the office. I mean, there's no difference in terms of information being in the computer, but you're processing it, okay? Or doing accounting, closing the books. In other words, why do we only close the books after 12 days when you would like to have, as executives, write that information at your fingertips, okay? So maybe you guys could give a few examples that are specific to non-production environments that you have seen that have sort of knocked your socks off.
The finance side of the business, when I joined the company, it was almost 15 days after the end of the month before I would see the numbers. And when we looked at that from a lean perspective, we realized she was producing an awful lot of data that nobody actually used. She felt compelled to slice and dice every bit of data that the business produced as she was closing the books and taking a look at that to say, how many people ever use that file? How many people actually find that information helpful in the business? And beginning to eliminate the reporting. It's like a cure for no known disease. You know, she was producing this stuff because she thought it should be produced, even though it actually wasn't being used. By the time, a year later, we were actually closing the books 2 days, 3 days at the most after the end of the month.
Worked with an outside software developer to develop essentially a web-based communication system for our dealers to get easy access to those answers. Also, they could file warranty reports electronically, so they automatically put into our database rather than having to be double entered. And then we said, this is going to free up a lot of our time for our 3 account managers. Rather than go with 2 account managers, let's get them really focused on value added, which was upselling. Because our inside salespeople who support the reps in the field have many more touches on our dealer base than the reps actually do. So we actually went to a base salary with a commission, a pooled commission pool, because we wanted the inside sales account manager, which was more maintenance at the time, to evolve into more value-added activity, which was upselling. So that was on the customer service side for us.
Right, we had an order process. It wasn't an order process. We had all 10 ways covered here too. We would literally, in our process, re-enter all of the same information 10 different times, instead of, you know, having a system that would just port the information over. So, believe it or not, we had to do spaghetti diagrams of the order flow and watch it go back and forth from person to person. So there's, in the order flow, and we added an additional 2 weeks to the order time. So it was 2 weeks of before the factory would actually get an order to do anything with. At least 2 weeks. So there's great, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit in your order system, I would suspect. We certainly have a lot of improvement in ours.
Our biggest area of improvement came out of our sales department, and we had new hires, and they were looking for boneless and skinless chicken breast. And this girl said, "I'm in fear of chicken." Well, why? Because it's spelled 16 different ways in your computer system. Well, that's morphed over 35 years in databases, and different buyers set it up different ways. So we standardize how we set up product numbers so that every product looks the same. We try to put what we call NAP numbers in the product numbers so they're a little intuitive, and just get the garbage out of your computer. It just builds up over time, and streamline and standardize that process is huge.
Transactions. Some companies, I don't think a company is 25 million, so it may have as many as 3 million transactions a year that they process, and that's across the board. If you think about order entry, purchase orders, right down the line, and the companies who have been successful, and you guys can probably talk better than I can, 30%, 35% reduction in the number of transactions that a company is putting into their system annually. Because every time you put in transaction, there's always the possibility, because it's usually manually handled by somebody, it's an opportunity for a mistake, it's error prone, and then you have to fix it. So it's doing it double work. And if you don't have to do it at all, you're saving not only the time you initially do it, but also the time to fixing it for the percentage of the time where it's done incorrectly, for whatever the reason is. So that whole mapping process you go through is really trying to understand is there a better way to do this? And you eliminate a lot of things, again, that have no real value to the customer, but as you said, built over time, we've always done it this way, type of an attitude. But if you can change that mindset and reduce just a big picture, transactions within a service organization alone, you're going to get a significant amount of excess capacity, if you will.
And if you train people the fundamental concept of the 7 ways, they'll get it. And then it's just a matter of saying, what are you guys doing that really isn't something the customer will pay for, whether that's the next department, or what's slowing down getting that information or that patient through the flows. That's really what it's about. So thank you for reminding us of that, Linda, that universally it's about flow, whether we're patients, transactions, information, or material through the process.